Good morning, my dear friend from Brooklyn, Brian Skillen. Thank you so much for being here again to talk to
Thank
me
you.
about something so special in our lives. That is the Camino Santiago, and it's I am really thankful to you for allowing me to do and to share our Camino uh, together with the people that will watch this video. Thank you so much. So Brian, let's start from the beginning.
Sure.
Uh, Tell us a bit how your journey on the Camino started. How did you find about it? How did you decided to go? What drove you to go into the Camino? Please let us know.
Yeah, absolutely. So, for those of you that don't know me, who I'm sure there's quite a few, I'm a professional dancer. So, I travel the world teaching dance and performing. And in 2008, I was on a tour through Europe, and I was in Spain, and I had a couple extra weeks, and I was like, what am I going to do? And I heard randomly about this thing called the Camino de Santiago. I'd never heard about it before. And back then, there wasn't very much information on it, especially in English in like 2008, 2007.
Yeah.
And so I was like, okay, I checked it out. And I bought a bus ticket and I went, and I actually ended up on the Primitivo route instead of the French route. I wasn't prepared, didn't have anything at all, didn't know what I was doing. I showed up and I was like, I got off the bus. I'm like, oh, now what? What do I do now? Oh my God, I have no idea. I don't speak Spanish. I'm in this town. What's going on? I have no idea. What did I get myself into? But, I'm so happy I got into it. I eventually found the albergue, but they wouldn't let me in because I didn't have a pilgrim's passport. So they said to go to the church. I got the iglesia. Okay, I know that. All right, fine. So I went to the church. Then the priest of the church told me to go to the pilgrim's office. I caught them just before they closed. They gave me my pilgrim's passport. And I was in the dormitory with like 60 beds and only me because
Oh,
it was the fall. So there was no pilgrims walking at this time of year, especially on that route.
an
Um,
aperitivo, yeah, yeah.
yeah. And so, I mean, there was nobody, it was just me. And I didn't really know very much about following the arrows. Like I knew how to follow the arrows, but I had no map with me, no Google Maps at this time because there weren't smartphones, or I didn't have a smartphone in Europe at that time. And so I just start following the arrows, and I get lost because it wasn't very well marked back then. So I spent the day just like walking and getting lost, and like the only other like living creature I saw that day was like a horse essentially. And so here I am, I'm like middle of Spain, it's getting dark, it's turning into night, it rained, and I didn't have a raincoat with me, so I found some trash bags and like was hiding underneath trash bags. Eventually though, I stumbled back upon an arrow, but it was late at night, and I pulled into the town around midnight, and I just pushed my body so hard that I actually ended up injuring my knees. And as a dancer, like your body is so
Yeah.
super important to you. And so every day after that, as I walked, it got worse and worse and worse until I got to Santiago, until I got the day before Santiago, and I couldn't walk anymore. I was hobbling with two sticks. I could barely move. And this dude's like, take the bus. You can't walk. It's obvious. I was like, no, I've been through so much to get here. And so I end up taking the bus, and I hobble in to the church. And, there's not many pilgrims this time of year. And I show up and I see only one other lady, like in this section of the church. And so I walk by and I see that she's crying. And, she's an older lady. I said, can I hold you? And she's like, yeah. So I sit down and put my arm around her. I'm like, are you okay? And it turns out that her husband had just died,
Oh,
and they've been married like 50 years. She also has MS, and she had no idea what to do with her life now. And so she took the Camino in a van with her dog. There's no wrong way to do the Caminos. So she did that from the Netherlands. And I realized in that moment, this woman had nobody in the world, and she was alone in this church. And had I not injured my knees, I wouldn't have been able to be there
yeah,
for her in that moment. And that was the first Camino miracle that I
yeah.
experienced. Is like it was that I was able to be a miracle from somebody else, not something that happened to me. It was that I was able to give. And at that moment, I was like, I resolved to come back and do the Camino again, and I will walk into Santiago.
Let
Because I
me
didn't walk the
let
last
me tell you a
day.
story. Something similar about that, but
Yeah.
it was before my first Camino. So when I decided to go on the Camino for my first time, I've kind of known what it was. I didn't really realize how deep it was,
Mm.
but there's a moment on the day 4th of October of 2016 where I decided to go on to the Camino. After I left the job that I had, and in that day, until this day, I don't know why, but the first thing that I've done it was talking to a couple of pilgrims,
Mm.
and they were a couple from Australia, and just 10-15 minutes that we talked, that really stick out to me, and I decided to go on to the Camino for the first time. And on this day, it was the 4th of October, so I put it like this day. On the 21 or the 24th of October, I will start my Camino. So I just spent 2 weeks in Barcelos. There is a Portuguese town where the Portuguese Camino passes, just talking to pilgrims and understanding or try to understand uh, why are they doing this? What are driving them to walk all
Mm.
over this distance to reach a point that is Santiago? And of so many good stories that I have listened. There's two or three that really stick out to me, and one of them. So um, there was like this old woman from Germany, and it was her first Camino, and she was for me before kind of my words trying to say thank you to these pilgrims was to telling them a story about the Camino and about the town. I don't know if you know this, but do you know Santo Domingo de la Calzada? You know?
Yeah, been there. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So in Portugal, there's a story that is really similar in that town in Barcelos.
Mhm.
And one of the main figures of Portugal also is the roasted chicken, El Gallo de Barcelos. So is naturally from that town where it happened. So my way to say thank you was to telling this story. So I was talking to this old woman, 75 years old, and I came up with her until this cross. And on the cross there are some signs talking about this story. So I was telling the lady this story, and suddenly she starts to cry, and I heard this old lady, and I comfort her, and I try to understand why she's crying.
Yeah.
So then, after she was a little bit calmed down, then she told me why she was walking the Camino. So she told me that um, she did heard about the Camino 20 years ago
Mm.
on late 2000, around something around. Um, and she decided to walk the Camino with her husband when they got uh, retired. So they decided to walk the Camino in that year, and 3 months before her husband passed away.
Wow.
And she was there walking for her and for him. So
Mm, beautiful.
that story really was really important to me, and it was kind of not it was one of my first big impressions of the Camino, and I guess that
Yeah.
that one on the church was yours, right?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And in with that woman and not being able to make it, I decided I have to go back again. As most people do who walk the Camino.
It's a,
And
I don't know. Sorry, I don't know anyone, but maybe there is. I'm sure there is, but I don't know one single person that I know that just walked one Camino.
yeah.
One.
Yeah, or that want to go back but haven't
Or
been
they
able to.
want, but
Yeah.
yeah, I know some cases of that. I have really some friends in Northern California,
Mhm.
Seattle, and Ottawa. They are friends, they are acquaintances, and was like mm, my best friends on that Camino in 2018.
Yeah.
Um, and we speak almost every month, not every month, but like in 2 months of spare.
Mhm.
We talked, and last month they told me that they are just thinking of going back in 2023. After
Awesome.
they will they will take like 5 years to go back, but they will go back. You
Yeah.
know, and that's
I mean,
amazing.
it's the thing, it's so life-changing that you just want to do it again and you want to share it with everybody, which is why we're sitting here.
Yeah,
Still
definitely.
continuing the Camino experience.
So, did you or for people? Let's pretend that this will just be watched for people that doesn't know what it was the Camino. So, for you,
Mhm.
what makes this a life-changing journey? What makes this so special?
Well, there's so much to it. I mean, you just feel it. You know, it's hard to explain. You feel it. Like it's almost like the Camino works through you, you know? And
Yeah,
there's little miracles that happen every day, and you meet people and they become part of your Camino family. And you have one purpose. Like one of the things I love most about the Camino is waking up and knowing exactly what I have to do that day. And that's just follow those arrows. And everything else doesn't matter. And that's it. You know, and so it really gets you into like the present moment. And yeah. And just the way it moves you. I mean, there's times where, you know, for me anyways, I've just started crying in the middle. I'm like, why am I crying? This is amazing. And you just feel, but it's not sadness, but joy, like just overcome with joy. And it's a time where everybody's what we call on the level, right? So everybody is on the level and everybody's the same. You know, whether you're rich or poor or blah, 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 it doesn't matter. You're all just pilgrims. And it's something so nice about, you know, everybody's in dirty clothing, like everybody looks disheveled, you know, everybody's the same and you don't have to worry about the other things. And, you know, that's one of it just works on you. You know, that's why it's life changing, is because it works on you, it humbles you, it
let
makes you
me
grow.
let me tell you one of my latest miracles on the Camino.
Yeah, sure. I'd
Uh,
love to hear.
so for you to understand this, this Camino, I did not just walk it for me.
Yeah.
So 4 months ago, I was able to travel to Sevilla in Spain
Mhm.
and just meeting some Camino friends. And one of them, I've kind of known like for a year that he was really sick, but I didn't know what it was. So I was able to meet with this guy again, and he told me that he had cancer. He
Oh.
has cancer. So by that moment, and after through one of these conversations that I had, uh,
Mhm.
I came to know that you can walk and you can dedicate the Compostela to others, to someone that died or to
Yeah.
someone that can't walk again. In that moment when he told me that he had cancer, I realized that my next Camino by that time
Mhm.
um will be in his name. So yeah, I walked the last Camino in his name, and
Amazing.
I dedicated the Compostela to this guy. Uh, Antonio it is name. It is his name. So, but so Antonio is a pilgrim, of course,
Yeah.
and he has like this particularity that he walks his Camino with like the same shirts ever or similar, but from the same different colors, but the same shirt, but different
Yeah.
colors. You know, it's from a local race in Sevilla. It's called the Sevilla 10.
Mhm.
So in this shirt, there's called Sevilla and then 10, right?
Yeah.
So um, he walks every Camino with shirts like that.
Mhm.
So on my first day, no, on my first day of the Camino, starting in Leon, the San Salvador, um, I it was I don't know. It was like my first, not my first pilgrim, but the second pilgrims that I met on that Camino, I guess. So I met two couples from Sevilla, and they
Okay.
were from Sevilla. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, we just talked like 5 minutes, and then that was it. We talked for 5 minutes, and I go ahead.
Mhm.
And we arrived at the first of the town where the first stage stopped, and we stayed at the same place.
Yeah.
And they invited me to dinner with them. So I was
Mhm.
just having dinner with them, and I tell this about. So I know some friends. I have some friends in Sevilla. I kind of this Camino is for one of them, and that was it. They were really thankful and they were happy with me. Next day, second day of walking.
Mhm.
So the town where the second stage finished, there's no one. Oh, there's just two albergs. There's one alberg and one pension,
Mhm.
one also,
Yeah.
and there's a restaurant on the hostel. Nothing more, and that was it. That
Mhm.
was in this place. So I stay at the alberg, but I called for the pension if they can do me something for me to eating at night. So I was picking up at like at 7, 8. I was picking up my food,
Mhm.
and they were there, and they were there. So we just started talking again and exchanging phone numbers and stuff like that. And it was like the first because it was the last time that I saw these two couples because the stages will be different from now on. So it was just exchanging numbers to when I will go back to Sevilla to meet them.
Yeah.
But anyway, suddenly one of them, they go up to the room and they came back and offer me one shirt exactly like
Oh,
that one's called Sevilla 10.
that's
Exactly,
amazing.
exactly
That's
like that.
amazing. I love that.
So I arrived in Santiago
Mhm.
with that shirt dressed, and my friend was there waiting for me in Santiago.
No!
Yeah,
That's awesome. I
yeah.
love that so much. I bet he was so surprised to see you wearing the shirt.
Yeah. In Spanish, la primera cosa que the first thing that he's asked me, ¿y esto? What is this?
Mhm.
What is this? Wow, why?
That's funny. Yeah,
Ow.
yeah.
What was the first thing that was, I have this guy when I can, was the first thing that he asked me, what is this? Ow.
Yeah. That's
That's, I don't know,
beautiful.
that's amazing. It was unbelievable. Like I said, it was unbelievable. And I don't know. So, Brian, one
See,
of the things that makes the Camino so special
mhm.
are the people.
Yeah, absolutely. Hands down.
And and part of the people are the leaders that we met. And I'm recently arrived from my last Camino, and I have to name two persons and two
Yeah.
albergs.
Yeah. Go for it.
On the San Salvador, Albergue de Bendueños,
Mhm.
and then you may have heard of this one, Bodenaya, on the Primitivo. Um,
Maybe.
and the two persons that are there on these albergs are out of this world. I can describe it. And in Bodenaya, it was I take I there was in that day on your break, I took several moments to try to understand what is was going on. I just stopped, I sat down in silence, just trying to understand what place,
Yeah.
what energy, what
Yeah.
feeling that one have in that place, and was so outstanding. And this one on the Primitivo, the other one on the San Salvador, and it was unbelievable. So just
I'll tell you
to
what, there was a albergue in Hospitero that changed my life. I think
please tell
I
us
think
about
I
it.
went back. I went back to the Camino, right?
Yeah.
Because I promised myself I was going to finish. And I got to the Ark of San Anton, which is like a giant arc stretching up into the sky, and it looks like something out of Game of Thrones or Lord of Rings.
Yeah.
And then right behind it is the hill city of Castrojeriz, where they have the castle on top, and it's just giant hill city. I'm like, where am I? And for me, I felt like I was stepping into a different world. But like I said, I checked into the albergue, and the hospitero stamped my passport with the stamp of the city, and it had 5 Templar crosses on it. And I said, well, I had the cross of Jerusalem, which has 5 crosses on it. I said, oh, Knights Templar. And he said, what do you know about the Knights Templar? And I said, I don't know. What do you know about the Knights Templar? And we got into this huge conversation about the history of the Knights Templar on the Camino de Santiago. And, and about the history in that city too, right down to the tunnels underneath the city being hollowed out with Templar tunnels. And, I was like, oh my God. And as, we were finishing the conversation, he said, look for the clues that the Templars left behind on the Camino. And that was it. I was hooked. That guy woke up, and I left my dance shoes, my most valuable possession, my dance shoes, right? Because I'm a dancer. I left them out just a store, and I said, I'll trade these in for a story. And every day after that, I got the story for this book that played like a movie in my head. The people I met, the things I saw, all came together to create this book.
Yeah.
The Way Through a Field of Stars, which we've just published.
Please tell us about the book, please. Come on.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, so like I said, it came together, and it's about essentially the book is about a secret code of the Knights Templar on the Camino, right? All inspired by this one albergue, this one hospitalero that told me about this. But as I walked, when you buy a yellow car, you start seeing yellow cars everywhere.
Yeah.
It was like that when this guy's like, look for the stuff Templars left behind. I started to see all this Templar symbology and Masonic symbology everywhere. And it just kind of formed like a story in my head. But anyways, we published it last year. We went on to become international award winner, Amazon bestseller in several categories. And we just did the Kickstarter for the second book in the series, which is coming out in, when is it? In November. November 18th.
I can't wait.
I'm so excited for it, and thank you for supporting it. Like, we loved it. It was actually your contribution to our Kickstarter that put us over our goal. So like, you were the one I saw it go, and I looked and it was your pledge, and I was just like, oh, thank you. So it's pretty awesome. And my goal with this series, right, because I feel like the Camino changed my life, is I want to inspire 1 million people to go walk the Camino de Santiago. That's what I want my book to do. I want it to reach 1 million people and inspire them to go there and have the adventure of a lifetime.
Definitely. That's outstanding and the big goal. But I know that you will fulfill. That's unbelievable. So I don't know if it's connected to the Templars, but when I was able on the Camino San Salvador, I was able, and it was like really another Camino moment for me. So there's one small church on the Camino, and most of the pilgrims or historians they speak about this church, this little chapel, as one of the most beautiful of all the Caminos, or even the most beautiful. And it's from the 18th century, pre-Romanic, and it's beautiful. So I passed by walking at this place at 9 in the morning, so it was really, really early, and it was closed by that time, and just opened from 4 to 6 p.m.
Yeah,
from 4 to 6 p.m. But I cannot wait until, because I was there at 9 a.m. So I just went. I took some pictures, and I just went on to arrive on the where I will set. So I arrived, I don't know, at 1 more or less at the place where I will go, and there were a friend of mine waiting me for us to have a meal together, to have some drinks together, and he came on purpose to see me. So I was there with this guy, just having lunch. But then he had to go back to his house. And I called another pilgrim. So this pilgrim was the first pilgrim that I met on the Camino, on that Camino, on the Albert. It was the first person that I talked to, because he just in my backpack. I were kind of one of these hands, and
Yeah.
I don't know if you know what is this, but this is called the friendship on the Camino. This means the friendship on the Camino, and
Ah, okay.
this is offered to you by pilgrims for pilgrims.
Okay, cool.
And I had several, and I also have some to offer. And you recognize, because I wear one on my backpack, and basically he just saw the backpack, and the guy, this is a Spanish guy from south of Spain that does this, and this is way to get back to the Camino gave him is this hands,
Awesome.
and you can't buy this.
Okay.
This is offered to you. You can't buy anywhere.
I
This
love
is just
that.
offered to you, and basically celebrates the friendship on the Camino. It's called the end of Mucho, La Manita de Mucho. Mucho is the guy that does this. So this pilgrim and the guy that does this, they are really good friends. So we started talking about it, and I realized you also want to walk to Salvador, and but then the next day we started together. But at some point I just went on and he stayed a little behind. So when he arrived at the final of the first stage, he was really, really sick. So we decided uh, not to continue walking.
Yeah.
He will go back when better. But anyway, so this guy had his car in Leon. So we decided, I already have everything booked. If I
Yeah.
cannot walk, let me do some tourism around.
Yeah,
So
why
in
not?
that day, he took up the car. He went by autobus to back to Leon and pick up the car and went on doing some tourism around Asturias and around Castilla Leon. And in that same day, on the day of the church, after my friend went home, I just called. So, Josemi, it's his name, he's really Spanish. Josemi, did you went to look for this church? This church, it's called Santa Cristina de Elena. Yeah, what is this? So this is a church from the 8th century, and people and historians, they say one of the most beautiful of the Caminos, of every Camino. No, I mean not. Do you want to go? Yes, of course, but how? So it drive me. It drive me back.
Awesome.
It drive me
Very
back,
cool.
and was really, really, really beautiful.
I love that. You know, the Camino always provides.
And it's so different from what you are used to. That church, it's unbelievable, unbelievable. This is just one of the most special points that I known this Camino. One more special place for me is that church. So on your Camino, what are the most special places?
For me, hands down, the Ark of San Anton. Like that is just, I got to stay there one night too. You know, it's super cool that when we went back in 2018, so I wrote the first book after the Camino in 2017, and I went back in 2018 to meet exactly the right people to write the second book, which is amazing. I'll talk to you about that later. But we got to stay in the Ark of San Anton, and there's no electricity in there, and it's candlelit, and you're staying in the ruins of this old monastery, and it is just, I don't know, you kind of just feel like you're in medieval times, and it's just the energy there is just incredible. And that whole region too. I mean, and not just the Ark of San Anton, you know, there's the city of Castrojeriz, which just has this energy to it and all this weird symbology. And this little place, have you gone through there? And there's this place for the pilgrims that's kind of like a sanctuary, I guess you could call it. And it's got like a purple bicycle outside, and you can go in, and it is just, they have all these kind of art exhibits in different places and places you can sit. I can't remember the name of it. And they have a little garden in back, and it's just really special. So for me, hands down, it's that area right there. Ark of San Anton and Castrojeriz, just, I love it. I love it so much. If I could, I'd spend like 3 weeks there just hanging out.
Just for you to, I will just show you something for you to tell me if you know this guy. Do you know this guy?
No, I don't think I've met him.
So this is the guy behind the monastery, that monastery.
You're kidding me, really?
Yeah.
Oh, amazing. Tell him, if you know him, tell him I'm so thankful that they keep it running.
This guy.
Wow.
There's also, he has a foundation called
Okay.
Fundación San Anton. You know.
Will you send me a link to that?
Yeah.
I mean, look at that. People at home, look at that. That's epic.
That's unbearable. That's unbelievable. So this is a guy. He's also hospitalero to this guy.
Okay.
And he's the guy behind everything.
Yeah, it's just such a special place. I don't know, words. Yeah, once again, words can't describe the way that I feel when I'm there. It's something, you know, because it's on the Meseta too, and there's that wind on the Meseta that just blows right through you. It's kind of like, it feels like the Meseta is cleaning you out. Right?
Do you know about that? I had a moment like that on this Camino. So, and I don't know, but for me, I just felt that God were with me in that moment. So on the first day of the Primitivo, you know, because of the pandemic virus, there are a lot of business that went through the air, you know. So in the first stage of the Primitivo, my sixth stage of that Camino, but the first of the Primitivo. So in a space of 17 kilometers, we couldn't find any place to stop and have a drink or to eat something. No, just almost already after 70 kilometers, but like further from the Camino, or not on the Camino exactly, we have to do some deviation, like for 300 meters. We had a bar. So me and the other pilgrims, we went to the bar to drink something, to eat something. And I was the first one to get back on the Camino. And suddenly I have like this long way down, like the Meseta, just one big, I don't know, just straight ahead. And there's no one. There's no one, there's no car, there's just me and nothing more. And I just blow, like you said, the wind is blowing in your direction.
It is, it just goes through you.
And it was really, really special for me. So please.
Oh, I was just going to say, I want to hear a little bit more about the organization you got inducted into. I have a question about that. Are they in the lineage of the Knights of St. James? Because the Knights of St. James are in the second book, and I know it's an organization that's morphed into something today. So I was just wondering.
Kind of. I guess I'm not sure, but that it's really easier, because I know they are originally from a different organization that went on the 6th century, I guess. But I guess there are some connection. I'm not really sure, but there are some connection. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I was doing my research. I was doing my research about them a little more, and they're like, oh yeah, and they've morphed into this.
Because this hearsay in Spanish, there's the step of the Pope, Alexander VI, in the exactly on the 16th century. It's also, so the roots get back to the 16th century.
To the 16th century, okay.
Yeah.
So that's a little later than.
Later, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Okay. Cool.
but I guess there were some signs before, you know.
Yeah.
I read something about it. But basically, our main goal, and
Mhm.
anybody that are a pilgrim can be part of it.
Mhm.
Our
Okay.
main
Cool.
goal, is just spreading the word of Saint James
Yeah.
and spreading the word of the Camino,
Yeah.
basically.
It's perfect.
So
Well, you're the right man for that. It's great.
and of course, there are the religious part associated. You know,
Mhm.
you have to like spread the cult to Saint James, of course. You know,
Yeah.
but yeah, it's something like that.
Cool.
Um,
Yeah, I was thinking about you when I was researching. I was like, I wonder if that's the same one that he's in.
you know, that is, I don't know, for me was kind of a big deal. Kind
Yeah,
of a
it's
big
huge.
deal.
It's huge. I loved watching the pictures because we talked right before you went in, and you're like, I'm so excited about this. And then when I saw the pictures come up of you in Santiago in your post and having it all happen, I was like, yeah, I was rooting for you. So it was
That,
awesome.
that was unbelievable. So if you, this is a new question that I'm redoing again. So I kind of, there are good things that came up from that things.
Mhm.
If you could relive one moment of your Camino right now, what moment you would be?
Oh, relive one moment of the Camino. You know, at this very moment, I think I would relive just walking. So on my second Camino, I had this epic Camino family that was just amazing. And I love talking about, miracles of the Camino, right? So my flight going there got delayed by 5 days to start my Camino. Ryanair went on strike or something. So I wasn't upset. I was like, the Camino provides. So I showed up. I met the exact right people that I was supposed to be walking with, my Camino family, on the first day. We walked together the whole way. And the moment I would, and, had my flight not been delayed, I wouldn't have met them. So it was perfect. And the moment I'd relive is just walking down, through some field someplace where one of the ladies who was with us, she would sing, right? So we're just sitting there, and you just are in nature, and she's just singing, and she has this beautiful voice, and I'm with some of the most amazing people that I've ever met in my life, just walking and being in community and going down together. So at this moment, that's what I want to relive. Just walking with those people in that moment in time when she's singing, and then we all start singing with her. Granted, I sing very off key, so I'm not very good, but it's it was just such a gorgeous moment. And it was simple, it wasn't anything extravagant. It was just a simple moment with amazing people. I've often found in life, it's not really where you are, but the people that you're with.
Definitely.
And, these people were just gorgeous and wonderful and kind and all going through their stuff, yet we were all like bonded together, and I think just that's the moment that I would relive.
So, Brian, we are almost finishing here,
Yeah, yeah.
but if your Camino could have an expression, a word, what expression, what word would be to describe your Camino?
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, and this is my book too. Like I always say this, the Camino provides not always what you want, but exactly what you
What
need
you
to fulfill your life's
definitely,
purpose, you know?
definitely, definitely.
Yeah.
I just send you the link for the
Thank,
foundation.
thank you. I see that.
For me, I this is like a big cliche, but it's the Camino. It's exactly like that. Um, and we already talked about it a bit before. The
Mhm.
Camino, you can't describe the Camino to someone. You have to feel it.
Yeah.
You know, you can't explain what the Camino is. You have to feel it. It's, I don't know. It's something like that. It's really undescribable. You have to feel
I
it.
have another one too. It's
Yeah, please.
I always say the Camino is like a lifetime. Each Camino is like a different lifetime. people come in at, in and out at different moments. Some people will walk with you for a few times, but there's a rare few that'll walk with you all the way to the end of the world, right? To Finisterre. But each one is like a different life. There's a beginning, there's stuff that happens in the middle and an ending. And you grow like a whole lifetime. I feel with each Camino, I grow a lifetime. And so that's another one that I really feel with it.
That's unbelievable, unbelievable. So Brian, to finish here, please, like with a beauty, um, the I will ask you for someone, please. I'm just finishing already these talks. Just asking the pilgrims to leave a message to the Camino, for the Camino. From the Camino to the Camino. So leave a message for the people that will hear this and will watch this video. What you want to say, whatever.
A message from the Camino to the Camino. Yeah, I mean, I think it would just be this: let go of what you think you need, and the Camino will provide for you. Just follow that intuition, drop everything at the door, and just go with an open heart when you go, and be led.
That's amazing, Brian. There's no words I can say just to say how thankful I am for we can be able to do it again. Thank you so much.
Absolutely, thank you.
It was a pleasure, and it was emotional. Thank you so much.
It's really great to speak with you again. I consider you part of my Camino, my virtual Camino family.
Hopefully, we can meet again soon.
I would love that. I would love that. Thank you. Great to talk to you.